This part we are going to look at kingdom Plantae, which is another kingdom in domain Eukarya. Because it's domain Eukarya, so all the organisms in kingdom Plantae are eukaryotes, which means they have true nucleus and membrane-bound organelles. And as you learn about plants, they carry out photosynthesis, so the feeding mode of kingdom Plantae is autotrophic, or we say photosynthetic, as well as the cell wall is made up of cellulose and plants store carbohydrate as starch. One more characteristic that is shared by both green algae and the land plants is both they show alternation of generations in their life cycle. Green algae is the ancestor of land plants. From the green algae that live in water, this plant starts to get used to terrestrial living, the land living, and it evolves to get used to land living. We start with the most primitive land plants, the less developed land plants. We have the group bryophytes, and then it becomes a more advanced land plants, the pteridophytes, which starts to have the vascular tissue, xylem, phloem. And it becomes even more advanced, the gymnosperms, which starts to have seeds. And then we have the most advanced land plants, which is the angiosperms, the flowering plants. We will look at the evolutionary relationship of plants later. Before that, let's learn several terms. Let's look at the alternation of generations, which happens in both green algae as well as the green plants, the land plants. Alternation of generations involve the two generations here, sporophyte as well as gametophyte. Sporophyte is diploid, 2N, and from its name sporo, it produces spores. You can see here from 2N, it becomes the spore, which is N. 2N to N, obviously it involves the process meiosis. And from this haploid spore, it will develop into the gametophyte, which is the haploid generation. From the name gamete, we know it produces gametes. And since it remains haploid, it involves the process mitosis. How to form back the 2N generation sporophyte is through fertilization. When we have the female and the male gametes fuse together, then it forms the zygote, which is 2N, that will grow into the 2N sporophyte. And then it goes around again. This is how the alternation of generations happen in the life cycle of green algae as well as the land plants. The next terms that you need to learn are homosporus as well as heterosporus. Homo, it means same. Hetero, it means different. Here we talk about the types or the size of the spores produced by the plants. If homosporous plants, it only produces one type of spore, and this one type of spore will grow into a bisexual gametophyte, as you can see here. One spore, it forms one gametophyte, which consists of both the male and the female gametophyte. And that's why the male gametophyte produces male gamete sperms, the female gametophyte produces the female gamete egg. And this is from one gametophyte, one bisexual gametophyte. Why? Because only one type of spore formed from this homosporous plant. What about heterosporus? Hetero, it means different. So we have different sizes of the spores. One that is bigger, we call it the megaspore. Another one which is smaller, we call it the microspore. As you learned before, megaspore, the bigger spore, will form the female gametophyte and that produce eggs, while the microspore, the smaller spore, will develop into the male gametophyte that produces the male gamete sperm. Let's look at this picture here. Two types of spores form from heterosporus plants. The bigger one, megaspore, will form the female gametophyte. The smaller one, microspore, will form the male gametophyte. And male gametophyte form male gamete sperm. The female gametophyte will form the female gamete egg. The next two terms that you need to learn are monoecious as well as dioecious. Mono, it means one. In this one plant, it consists of both male and female. Either this male and female, they are in the same flower, or they are on different flower but in the same plant. This is what we meant by monoecious. As long as in this one plant it has both male and female reproductive structures. What about dioecious? Di, it means two, so we have the separated male and female plants. So as shown in this picture, the male is on one plant, the female reproductive structure is on another plant. Based on my drawing, then it will be like this. This is one plant and it has both male and female together. Whereas for dioecious, I will have one plant which has the male reproductive structure, another plant, it has the female reproductive structure. They are both separated in different plants, and that's the meaning of dioecious.